Good morning, everyone. Today we will start with the next topic, fast Fourier transform. So, many people they have an understanding that the fast Fourier transform is in itself a transform. Okay, because in its name we are having a transform. Okay, at the end. So if you look discrete Fourier transform, wavelet transform, and whatever the other transforms we talk about, uh, the thing where we have or the name where we have a transform, that means it itself is a transform over there. However, in the case of fast Fourier transform, this is not the case. Okay, this is not the case. Fast Fourier transform is not a transform in itself. On the contrary, it is basically a method for implementing DFT in a faster way. Okay. Okay. So in short, in short, fast Fourier transform is regarded as FFT. Okay. So the FFT can be implemented in two ways. The first one is decimation in time. Decimation in time, and the second one is decimation in frequency. Now, the FFT implemented by the process decimation in time is regarded as DIT FFT. Sorry. Whereas the FFT implemented using decimation and frequency method, it is regarded as DIF FFT. Okay. In both this process, basically what happens is that it applies a simplistic architecture or the algorithm to implement DFT. Okay, and also it may be used to implement IDFT. Just like in the DFT, in IDFT also the length of the input and the output, it remains the same. Whatever is the length of the input signal, you will get an output signal which is having a same length as that of the input. The FFT is being implemented using an architecture which is regarded as butterfly architecture. Okay. Now, this is a simplistic but butterfly architecture. So what it says, see, you're having two signal flow graphs. So one signal, it starts from A, it comes over here at one of the output points, and the second one is B, and it moves in this way. Apart from that, from B, you get a single signal flow from B you get a signal flow to A, and from A you get a signal flow to B. Okay, and just after B you have a multiplier e to the power minus j 2 pi k n n. It is nothing but your total factor Wn. Okay, so if you follow this signal flow, we get A plus Bwn over here, and at the lower end we get A, because this A comes over here and then over here, so you get the A, whereas in the B gets multiplied by Wn, but then it gets multiplied with minus of 1. It gets multiplied with minus of 1, so it becomes minus of B Wn. Okay, so let me draw it in a clear manner. Right, now in this you get the topmost part. Here there is a multiplier of minus 1 over here. So A, it comes in a straight fashion. It comes over here. Then over here we are having an adding. So to this adder, what is coming? B multiplied by Wn. On the contrary, at the lower end, what we are getting? A. Then to this adder we are getting B Wn multiplied by Wn multiplied by minus of 1. So it comes out to be minus of B Wn. Okay. So this is a basic butterfly architecture. Okay. Now we have used a term decimation over here. Okay, what does decimation do and what is its important? Decimation in time means the decimation is done in the time domain, whereas the decimation in frequency means the decimation is done in the frequency domain. Now we need to understand what is definition, decimation. Okay, suppose we will understand this with the help of an a signal which is given in time domain xn. Okay, suppose you are given with a signal xn which is here. So at -2 you are having 0, at -1 you are having 0, at x0 you are having say 1, x at 1 you are having -1, at 2 n equals to 2 you are having x2 say 2 value 2, then in 3 you are having a value of 1, and so on it goes on, right? Now what does decimation means? Decimation means breaking into pieces. Okay, decimation means breaking into pieces. So over here we break the signal into even index terms and odd index terms. we break the signal into even index terms and odd index terms. Now in the even index terms, if you see when we are indexing it, we are getting again some of the values over here. Now how you are getting? If you see x0, in the origin it has come. Now in the decimated even index term signal, you are having 1, but you have taken this value. So you have taken this value, then after leaving one value, you have taken the another one, then you left another value, then you took another one x4, see, right? Then after x4, you have taken x6, okay? Then you have to take x8, and in this fashion it will go, see, 0, x2, x6. That's why it is called even index terms. So in the original signal, if your n value is even and you sort this out to create a new time index and you place those values, then they are regarded as even index term signal components. Okay. Similarly, in the odd index terms, what will happen? See, x1, sorry, it is now the new x0. Okay. In x1 we are having let me change the color for better understanding. So this x1, it was here. Now we have taken it as the origin. Now after x1 we are having x3, which is the now having a time index of 1. Then x5, this is the x5. Then we are having x7, right? So correspondingly in the negative domain also, in the negative side also, we will have these values. Okay. So I hope you have understood what do you mean by decimation and what decimation does. So decimation means breaking down a signal into its even and odd components, a series of even and odd components. Okay. Now suppose we have a signal xn which is given by x0, x1, x2, x3, x4, x5, x6, x7. Okay. Now we would like to decimate the signal until and unless we are left with a pair of the signal components. A pair of the signal components. Okay. So if I break it down, what will happen? Please be remember that x0 will always, or the event term will always be on the left hand side. Okay. x0, x2, x4, x6. Similarly, over here what we will get? x1, X3, X5, X7. No, see, we are still not left with a pair of signal. We are having two pairs. So we have to again break it down so that we only get a pair of signals in the even and in the odd component. So again, we will break it down into two. So now X0. After that, we will be having X4. Here we will be having X2, X6. Similarly, X1, X5, X3, X7. Okay. Now see, in each of the terms, I am left with a pair of signal components. Now you would say, sir, what is the use of this one in the FFT? So whatever is the what you call arrangement of this signal in this given order, as you move from left to right, it is being used, the signal is being used in this order in the DIT FFT or DIF FFT. So in the DIT FFT, the signal order in this decimated form is present in the time domain. Frequency domain is in normal order. Okay. In DIT FFT, the time domain is in the decimated order. Okay. Decimated order. I am talking about decimated order. Okay. So what is the decimated order? If you want to see from here, so I will be having X0, X4, X2, X6, X1, X5, X3 and X7. So this is the decimated order. Okay. Whereas in DIF FFT, the order in the time domain is normal. However, the order in the frequency domain is in the decimated order. That means the frequency component, what you will be getting, it will be in the order of capital X0. See, this signal components in the time domain, I have written it in small x. Capital X means we are talking about the frequency domain components. Okay, so the frequency domain output would be in this order in DIF FFT. So this is for the DIF FFT order. Okay, the frequency component is in this decimated order. Okay, however, the input in the DIF FFT is in the normal order. Normal order means it is in this order: xn equal to x0, x1, x2, x3, x4, x5, x6, x7, x7. Okay. Now, the order what we have just discussed can also be obtained by another method which is called bit reversal order method. In this method, what you do, you have the signal component x0, x1, x2, x3, x4, x5, s6, x7, right? So I have taken 8-point signal. Okay, so that's why. So this 0 to 7 values, it can be represented in a 3-bit number. If I would have got any signal components which is having values from x0 to x15, then I would have needed 4-bit number, right, to represent that signal components. So let's see how the x0 is written in the form of bits. So 0, it can be written as 000. So how do you do this? Every one of us know that we have the least significant bit which is having a value of 2. Sorry. Then the next the medium significant bit is 2 and the most significant bit is 4. So it comes from the values of 2 to the power 0, 2 to the power 1, 2 to the power 2. If it would have been in the range of 0 to 15, then we would have got 2 to the power 3, which is basically 8, right? So, but we will stick our discussion to x0 to x7. Okay, so we are having 1, 2, 4. So 0, 0, 0, then we get the 0. Then for 1 we get 1. So we get 1 for this and 2 zeros. Then for 2 we get 2, 1 for 2 and the other two values will be 0. See, 0, 1, 0. Similarly 0, 1, 1, 1, 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 0 and 1, 1, 1. Okay. Now what we have to do now? We have to reverse the bit order over here. So we are having 0, 0, 0. We get 0, 0, 0. So bit reversal means the mean or the lowest significant bit, it comes to the most significant bit, and the most significant bit, it comes closer to the low significant bit. Now this is across this pivot, middle pivot. Or what we have to or what we can say, we just have to reverse this one. So initially we are starting 0, 0, 0. Now we have to write down as 0, 0, 0, 0. So this 0, it will come here. Then this 0 second one will come here. Then this third one will come over here. Okay. I hope every one of you understood what I want to convey, right? Now similarly, in the next one, if you see, this 1 comes over here, then these 2 zeros, it comes accordingly over here. So it becomes 1, 0, 0. Then 0, 1, 0, it remains the same. There is no order change. Then 0, 1, 1, it becomes 1, 1, 0. Then For 4 it becomes 100, it becomes 001. Then x5 101, it becomes 101. Then for x6 we get 110, and it gets converted to 011. Similarly, in the last one, 111, it remains the same as 111. Now you convert it into the decimal form again. X0, 000 is nothing but x0. Then 100, so this is 1, 4, so x4. Then 010, it becomes 2. Now this becomes 6, 1, 5, 3, 7. Okay. Now if you look over here and compare it with the decimated order, see, and compare it with this decimated order, you will see it remains the same: x0, x4, x2, x6, x0, x4, x2, x6, then x1, x5, x3 and x7. And you compare this one with this one, see, x0, x4, x2, x6, x1, x5, x3, x7. Okay. So in this way it goes on, and you get the input order values. Okay. So I have shown this in the time domain. The same will be true with the frequency domain also. Instead of small x, it would become capital X. Okay. Now this is a chart for DIT FFT for a 8-point system. Okay. First, let us consider a 2-point system. Okay. So in a 2-point system, what we get in case of xn, now I am just talking about DIT FFT. DIF FFT we will be talking on later on, maybe tomorrow or day after tomorrow. Not tomorrow, in the next class, and or the next class thereafter. Okay. So xn is equal to x0, x1. Now if you see, it is already appearing in a pair, so we need not to do anything else. So what we will be having? We will be having x0, we will be having x1. So your capital X of 0, it will become x0. This is a 2-point total factor, 2-point DFT we want to find out. So W2 0, okay, plus x1 into W2 0. Now what we have said in our last class, any value where nk is equal to 0, that total factor value is 1. So it basically becomes x0 plus x1. Okay. Similarly, capital of x of 1, it becomes x0, it comes over here to this junction, plus x1 multiplied by 1 is x1, multiplied by minus 1 is minus of x1. Okay. Right? Any doubt up to here? Up to this point?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Now let's go to the 4.A50. Okay. In the 4.A50, what we do basically is that we first perform 2-point DFT. Okay. So we will take the upper two values, we will perform 2-point DFT. We will take next two values, we will perform 2-point DFT. Now we will take the inputs from here and we will take the outputs from here, and then I will perform 4-point DFT to get the orders. Okay. Now what would be the input order? I said it should be in the decimated order. So what should be the decimated order over here? The decimated order would be x0, then next one is x2, x1, x3. Okay. So our input order over here would be x0, x2, x1, x3. Okay. Now initially what we have to do? We have to perform 2-point DFT using x0 and x2 and then x1 and x3, right? So we'll draw this butterfly architecture over here. We are performing 2-point DFT, so our total factor would be W2 0. Okay. Similarly, when we go downside, excuse me, we get W2 0 minus 1. So what would be the output over here? In this case, say I am naming it as A. Okay, A would be x0 plus x2, right? Because we have already seen it over here. X0 plus x1 is over here, but in this case we are taking these two inputs, so x0 plus x2. Similarly, B would be x0 minus x2, and B would be x0 minus x2. Similarly, C would be over here x1 plus x3, and D would be x1 minus of x3. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Now the thing is that we have performed two 2-point DFT. Okay, now we have to perform a 4-point DFT. Now in the 4-point DFT we will be needing 4 inputs. Okay, now what will happen is that while performing the 4-point inputs, I have to see in the previous instance how we have broken down. So if I draw a line, if I draw a line which will divide the number of connections in equal half, okay, say this is the line, this green is the line, and above this line we are having 2 connections, and below this line we are having 2 connections. Okay, now what we have to do, from the first point above this green line we will draw a connection to the upper point below this green line. That means from A I will draw a line to C, and from C I will draw the line to A. Okay, similarly from x of 2 or this B, I will draw a line to D, and from D I will draw a line to B. Are you getting my point? If you take this green line as a symmetric line, that means above this green line I am having 2 points, and below this line I am having 2 points. Then from the first point among the points which are present above the green line, I will have to transfer the signal from there to the first point among the sets which are present below the green line, and then in the second instance from the second point to second point, and from again from the lower second point to the upper second point. Okay, so you can say U1 and U2, if I say upper point 1, upper point 2, and in the lower case I say lower point 1 and lower point 2. So from upper point 1 I will be sending a signal to lower point 1, and consequently from the lower point 1 I have to send a signal to the upper point 1. Okay, then from the upper point 2 I have to send a signal to the lower point 2, and consequently I have to send a signal from the lower point 2 to the upper point 2. Am I clear till now? Because
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
this is critical. Many students, they do mistake over here. Okay, so make this clear. Now once we have done this, we know at the lower ends we are having the multiplier of -1, so we will be having a multiplier of -1. Okay, now what about the twiddle factor? We are doing 4-point twiddle factor. So if you see in the lower connections, we are having the twiddle factors. So we'll be having the twiddle factors over here. W40, W41. Okay. In some book you will find that W41, it is written by W28 in the case of 8-point twiddle factor matrix, and also this W02, if it is a 8-point this thing, W02 would be written as W08. So anyhow W02 is equal to W08 because the 0 components, it becomes 1. It makes the twiddle factor 1. Whereas if you consider this one, W14 equals to W28, this is true. The reason being, we have talked about e to the power minus j 2 pi kn by capital N. Okay. So in one instance I am telling 1 by 4, right? For W14 it is 1 by 4, and if you are talking about W28, this component, it would become 2 by 8, which is again 1 by 4, right? So the values would be the same, right? So don't worry about that. However, I personally prefer this point W40 because as you see, when I am doing the calculation for 2-point DFT, I am taking the total factor of W20. When I am going for the 4-point DFT, I am doing the calculation for the 4-point. I am taking the values for the 4-point DFT. W14, it's very easy. W14 is minus j, right? So you actually don't have to remember anything up to W14, 4-point DFT, right? Now, over here, what you will be getting? Same A dash or capital X0, because for a 4-point FFT, this would be the final output. X0 is equal to A plus C, right? A plus C, because W04 will be 1. So A is coming over here directly, and from C it is multiplied with 1. It is going over here, so we get A plus C. Similarly, in X, this would be X1, this would be X2, it would be A minus C, right? And here, X1, in X1 we will be having, what we will be having? We are having B plus D into W14. D into W14 is minus J. Right? Am I right? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So it would be D into minus J.
D.
So X1 would be B minus of JD, whereas in the L2 segment we'll be having X of 3. This would be equals to, because of this minus 1, this will get changed, B plus JD. Okay, so this is for the 4-point FFT. If you see the number of complex multiplications what we did using this Tudor factor matrix, it was much higher than in this case, right? Now let us go to the 8-point DFT. Now since you have understood the 4-point DFT, it will be easier for you to understand the 8-point DFT. See, first we are doing, sorry. First we are doing a series of 2-point DFT. Okay, a series of 2-point DFT you are doing. Okay, now initially what we are doing, we have done 2-point DFT using this separately. Now 4-point DFT, we are taking the upper 4, we have seen over there, see, now this is your 4-point DFT. So over here you have done 2-point DFT, here we have done 4-point DFT, right? Now see, while we are doing the 4-point DFT, we have taken a line which is segregating the two DFTs in the top and the lower part. Okay, similarly over here also we have taken a line which segregates the two DFTs in the top and the lower parts, and using those two we have confirmed this. Now while we will be going for the 8-point DFT, see what is the line which is segregating the two 4-point FFTs? This line, right? So what we are doing now, if you see, this one is upper 1, upper 2, upper 3, upper 4. Then we have lower 1, lower 2, lower 3 and lower 4. From upper 1 we are getting to the lower 1. Okay. From upper 2 we are getting to the lower 2. Similarly, we are also getting from the lower 1 to upper 1, lower 2 to upper 2, then upper 3 to lower 3 and lower 3 to upper 3, and lastly upper 4 to lower 4 and lower 4 to upper 4, right? And all these values below this this line, we are having a multiplier of 1. Now since it is an 8-point DFT, so we are having 8-point Tudor factors W08, W18, W28, W38, just in a manner 1, 2, 3, 4. Just you have to remember that it is an 8-point DFT, so 8-point Tudor factor will be implemented. Here if you see, as I told you, W08 is equal to W02 is equal to W04, but I prefer, instead of writing W08 and W28, I prefer it as W04 and W14, because it makes my things easier to remember the stuffs. Okay, so for a 4-point it becomes 0414. Over here I prefer W02. Okay, so this is how we do the this 8-point FFT. Any questions up till now? Until now, sorry.
No, sir.
No? Okay.
No, sir.
Next, get to this. Okay. What I have done nothing. I've just taken the plot, taken the information from the plot, and I have just tabulated it how to process. Okay. In exams, if you are asked perform DFT using DIT FFT or DIF FFT, you can directly do all the calculations in the network over here because this is the main algorithm. However, I personally prefer this one, this tabulation method, because I feel it becomes easier. Okay. Now I will tell you why it makes your life easier. Okay. So yeah, even if you do it using the tabulation method, please be sure that you draw the butterfly architecture. You draw the butterfly fly architecture using all the values of x0, x4, x2 and all these things, right? Because that is your main architecture for the calculation. This is just for your assisting purpose. Okay, this tabulation method is not the actual method. Okay, this is just to assist you during the calculation. Okay, so let's say in the stage 1 output, suppose you are having the input x0, x4, x2, x6, x1, x5, x3, x7. So this is in the decimated in time domain, right? Let's say x0 it is having a value of a, x4 it is having a value of b, c, d, e, f, g, h. Okay. Now first we have to do grouping, two grouping each, because we will be performing 2-point FFT. So in the 2-point FFT, if you look into the total factor, the yellow portions in the yellow cells, you have to put in your total factor values. So this one 1, because if you go back over here, here you have nothing. Nothing means it is 1. You are having a multiplier of 1. However, in the next one, you are having W02. So, see, this is 1. But for the total factor, the yellow cells, I have put the total factor. The yellow cell, it will be having W02, which is again 1. Similarly, over here also, upper cell is having 1. And the yellow cell, it will be having the total factor value 1. Then x1, it is having the 1 total factor value. Then normal 1 total factor value. Now the next thing comes output. How to calculate the output? We know the output in the first stage is between x0 and x4. So it becomes a dash equals to a plus b, and b dash becomes a minus b. Okay. Similarly, between x2 and x6, you will get c plus d and c minus d. Similarly, in x1 and x5, you will get e plus f plus, and in the second one, e minus f, and lastly, you will get g plus h and g minus h. Okay. Then, if you see, we have completed 2-point this thing. Now, in the next point, we'll be having 4-point DFT. Okay, up till now you have to take 4 point. Okay, now in the 4 point, so this one and this one, so a double dash, what we get? A dash plus c dash multiplied by 1 c dash. Similarly over here you get c double dash, you get a dash minus c dash. Okay, because apart from in the lower half we have a negative multiplier also, right? Similarly b dash, b double dash, you get b dash, then d dash minus j dash, j d dash, right? Here there is a multiplier of minus 1, so it becomes plus, right? Similarly in the next half also you get this thing. In the final one, what you have to take all the values. So the lower values, they are the total factors. Here these yellow cells, they were the total factors. W01, W04, W14. W14 is minus j, W04 is 1. Similarly W04 is 1 over here and W14 is minus j. Accordingly you have got here. Now when you come to the total factor of 8 point DFT, W08 is 1, W18 is 0.707 minus j of 0.707, then we have minus j, then minus of 0.707 minus of j of 0.707, right? Now this is the upper one, this is the lower one. So x0, this is the final output, x0 is equal to a double dash plus e double dash, and x4 it becomes a double dash minus of e double dash. Okay, then x1 b double dash plus f double dash multiplied by total factor, right? Similarly over here in x5 b double dash minus of f double dash of 0.707 minus a, this total factor. Can you see? I have to just change the signs. Similarly over here also, if you see x2 c double dash minus of j g double dash, right? And here only the sign changes. Similarly in the x3 and the x7. Okay, so did you get my point? So your table, it makes your life a bit easy, because you will be able to find out or do the numericals bit quickly and in a simplistic manner. And once you have calculated the x0, you just write down the values in the place of x0, x4 and this thing, and you put the values of capital X0, capital X1, capital X2 and this thing in this in the architecture. Otherwise what happens is that if you try to do the numericals inside in this architecture, I have seen students, many students, I am not saying all the students, many students, they tend to do mistake. Okay. The life becomes easy over here due to the reason same. When you are performing 2 point up to here, see, this is addition, this is subtraction, this is addition, this is subtraction. So this is addition, this is a subtraction. If there is any chance of mistake, you can just see the sign whether you have done some mistake or not. When you are going for 4 point, addition, subtraction, addition, subtraction. Okay, similarly addition, then subtraction, addition, subtraction, right? Here also if you see addition, subtraction, addition, subtraction, addition, subtraction, addition, subtraction. If by chance you do some mistake anywhere, you will be able to quickly remember this thing. So how do? You first calculate x0 and immediately you calculate the x4. Okay. You don't wait, you don't go in a serial manner that you'll be calculating x0, x1, x2, x3. Don't do that. Because what happens? The across this line, across this line, from where your total factor starts, the upper one fills up, lower one fills up. You will be able to keep a track easily. Okay, you will be easily able to track. Similarly, over here, you fill this one and this part, and then you fill this part because it is addition and subtraction. And if there is any mistake, you will be able to pick it up quickly. And you know the calculation is between this and this over here, right? Similarly, when you do the calculation for the next cell, you do the calculation for the next cell. Then you pick up the other cell and over here. Then lastly this one and this one. Okay. So if you go on doing the thing in a simplistic manner, your life becomes quite easier. Now, when we talk about the IDFT, we have said that xn equals to 1 by n into total factor conjugate into x of k. Now over here, when we were doing the DFT, over here this final output is our capital X of k, which is in the normal order. Now if I ask you, you perform IDFT using the FFT, DIT FFT, you have to use the same chart, but there is a small catch. The input will be in the decimated order. Okay, the input would be in the decimated order. Please remember this. The input would be in the decimated order, right? Even though you are working with the frequency components, but if I ask you perform IDFT using DIT FFT method, even though the input is the frequency domain signal component, it would be in the decimated order. Rest of the calculation up to stage 3 remains the not same but similar. Reason being, when we were calculating capital X of k, we were multiplying total factor with the x of n. However, over here we are having the conjugate. Now see, over here there is no changes in the values because it was all real number. But in the Wn4 stage, we are having j. Sorry, there should have been a conjugate over here. Okay, this should have been conjugate. So now please rectify your, I will be rectifying this figure later on. Okay, so see these values and compare it with the previous values in the previous table. These are conjugates. These are conjugates. 0.707 minus of j 0.707. See, it has become plus. Similarly, minus j has become plus. Similarly, over here, minus j 0.707, it has become a. Okay. Now, even after doing this, and when you get to the output of the stage 3, see, I have written x dash 0, x dash 1. Why? Because it is not the final output. What is the final output? How we will get the final output? We will get the final output by multiplying it with 1 by n. And in this case, we are performing 8-point DFT. So 1 by n would be 1 by 8 into x dash 0. Are you getting my point? So in this way,
Yes.
we do the IDFT using DIT FFT. Okay. So do you have any questions? Because if your concepts are not clear now, then while we'll be going for the DIF FFT method, you will be stuck. You will be getting confused. So uh, you have quite a lot of time because this class was preponed from Friday to Wednesday, and our next class is on Monday. Try to practice some numericals at home. Okay. So I would ask the TA that please give them the some numericals maybe today or day after or tomorrow so that they can submit the assignments on Monday. Okay. So while doing the numericals, you will be having the concepts much more clear. And if you want, I can do some numericals maybe in the next class if you want. Okay. So that's it for today.